This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I try not to cover these music videos too much anymore, but when they're constantly showing you and conditioning the masses out there for what is to come, it is important to show people because there's repetition being used, not creativity, repetition. And one of the agendas that we've seen go full throttle is this artificial intelligence, transhumanism agenda. You see it all over the place. And they are conditioning people to be prepared for this. They're conditioning people to want this, to think that they're almost going to become like superheroes. They can cross their DNA with robots and computers. They won't need a phone anymore. Everything will be inside their body. And they're doing this by not just showing things like Sophia the robot, not just by sexualizing some of these robots. They're doing it subliminally through film, through music videos, desensitizing people to be prepared for this. Now, Justin Timberlake, apparently this guy's still getting down. I don't know how after some of these NSYNC videos, if you look back on what this guy was wearing, guy's walking around in a turtleneck. I mean, you just look at this guy. I can't believe people are still listening to him. I can't believe this guy's still relevant. But this is one of the guys who's made a deal from the get-go. You know who these people are. Most of them come from Disney. They come from Nickelodeon. They are born into this. Okay, Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, Ryan Gosling, Christina Aguilera, Selena Gomez. The list of these people, Miley Cyrus, who started off at a young age and who have been programming teens who start watching them, whether it's through the Mickey Mouse Club or through these Disney shows, when they're 10, 12, 15, or even younger. They go with them. They grow with them, right? So then they go from being, Mickey Mouse Club to being NSYNC to being edgier, and being hip-hop. And people go, oh, yeah, I've watched Britney Spears since she was a little girl on the Mickey Mouse Club, and Miley Cyrus, same as, all of them. And they grow with them. They change with the character. And there's a reason for it. Justin Timberlake wasn't in the Mickey Mouse Club when he was, 5 years old, whatever he was, because he was so talented. And these people are so talented and nobody else is. There's a reason that all these people are prominently placed. It's not a coincidence. It's not because the cream rises to the top. Their parents were either, part of some type of secret society. I want to say Freemasons, but, all of these people are Masons, whether it's whatever, secret order they're involved in, whether it's Masonry, a satanic coven, whether the mom's a witch or the dad's a Satanist, all that stuff. They all connect and network that way. And then they push these people and they push these children, who most of which end up being molested and prostituted around. They condition them, they use mind control on them, and they train them to become these mega superstars who can sing, who can dance, who can act, who can do it all. So here's Justin Timberlake, right? Back at it again. He's returned. I believe he's doing the Super Bowl this year, so they're probably going to be pushing transhumanism during the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Don't be surprised. You will likely see that. They'll probably mimic this video and have the thing like Sophia out on stage with him. So this video, of course, Timberlake comes out in his black and white Masonic clothing, right? I mean, how many times do I need to point this out with the black and white colors? People are just like, oh no, it's a coincidence. Yeah, how many times do you need to see it to realize it's not a coincidence? Everybody just loves to wear the esoteric black and white colors. They're always doing it. When these videos, whether it's on the floor or they're wearing it, they're always paying homage to Freemasonry. Okay, the black and white, the good and bad, the duality that they believe in. So he's in his black and white clothing. And then, of course, this robot that looks like Sophia, the robot, comes down the steps, and everybody in the crowd is kind of taken aback at first. And Timberlake starts using, lyrics to condition people into thinking that this is cool and this is sexy. The robot starts doing things. People in the crowd are oohing and eyeing. And eventually, this leads to the robot performing sexual acts on human beings. No surprise there, right? I mean, because that's what's next to come. Excuse me, I should apologize, because I've already done videos on people in different countries, not even here in America, who buy dolls and marry and have relationships with blow-up dolls, lifelike dolls, and we're not even allowed to talk about it. Like, these people are insane. because it's hate speech. Well, in some of these other countries, they literally are having relationships with anime characters, with virtual reality characters. I mean, everybody's gone bat blank crazy, to sum it up. So here's the robot on stage. He's performing, he's on top of a person, on top of a woman. He's performing obviously what looks like a sexual act. If you don't think that's some type of, what they're hinting at, what they're conditioning people with, then you're being naive, because that's what they're doing. And the people in the crowd start oohing and eyeing at that. They're taking it back at first. And then, of course, everybody stands up and gives this artificial intelligence, transhumanism garbage a standing ovation. Right? Everybody stands up and claps, and this is wonderful. This isn't the first time we've seen it. I mean, transhumanism and artificial intelligence is being pushed everywhere through the mainstream. These celebrities are conditioning people to be prepared for this, to be prepared for the mark, to be prepared to cross humans and machines, right? I talked about the 5G technology and the microwaving of us. Well, one of the things I forgot to mention in that video is what 5G is going to guarantee is that they have the technology and everything in place to have these cars that drive themselves, these driverless cars. That's why you've seen all these false flag events pop up over the last few years, where suddenly all of these terrorists have decided they want to take their cars and run people over. Why do you think that is? Because if they just came out and they said, here are driverless cars, everybody, people would go, I don't know about that. That doesn't seem. Well, they're going to continue to use fear, continue to create false flag events where ISIS and other people and Antifa, people are running people down with cars because they're going to say, listen, you know how many murders and deaths we can prevent with driverless cars and this type of 5G technology? People are going to go, yeah, you're right. We don't need drivers anymore. There'll be no more accidents. This is how they work. Everything you see going on in your world is conditioning for you, for me, for the masses. When you're awake, you see these things. When you're thinking on a conscious level, you see these things. And it's not hard to do. Ask yourself why. When you see repetition, think about it. Oh, okay, another person's getting run down with a car. You think all of a sudden all these terrorists who over the years have spent, with these other false flag events have used guns because they're pushing the gun grab, all of a sudden ISIS is deciding, hey, I'm just going to get a truck and I'm going to run people over. And then at the end, after running people over, someone's just going to shoot me in the head. And, okay, sounds good. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's to create fear. So again, back to this video. We've seen this with Gaga and Intel pushing transhumanism. We've seen it with movies like Terminator and iRobot. I mean, every month, this is another thing they condition people with is, the what do you call it? Scarlett Johansson in the movie she was just in. They condition people with how great transhumanism is going to be and how we're all going to be a perfect race. People aren't going to get sick anymore. They're not going to get diseases. And one of the subliminal messages behind that, too, is this obsession with superheroes. I always talk about that because that's conditioning for this. It's a lower level in the conditioning process where they're not going to flat out go, hey, you got to take this chip and you got to cross your DNA and you become somewhat of a computer yourself, and the people will be taken aback. But when they start selling it as, hey, you can do all these things. You don't have to get sick anymore. You could live forever. You could have your own superpowers. All the dumb sheep out there are going to be drooling over it because they've spent their whole life conditioned and drooling over false idols, over things like Superman, over things like the X-Men, not realizing what they've been conditioned for. So Timberlake, no big deal, right? Comes out in his black and white clothing. I mean, I don't know how many messages I have to field every day from people. Oh, they go, my mom's got black and white tiles in her kitchen. She must be a Satanist. Yeah, good one, pal. If you're that stupid and you can't see the repetition, it's not my problem. It's everywhere, every day. All these videos, all these TV shows, there's always an agenda being pushed. They aren't wasting any time. Any of this stuff that gets on TV, it's not on there because people are creative and coming up with great ideas. Every second is valuable to them, and they use every resource they have. Every second on the TV, every second on the internet, everywhere they can capture somebody's attention, they push these things. Commercials, you name it. Transhumanism, artificial intelligence, Endgame, Mark of the Beast. And they're using these false idols like Timberlake to push it. And of course, you'd think that people would see this and go, that's pretty disgusting that the robot is pretty much mounting a woman on stage. But of course, the audience cheers and Everybody thinks it's wonderful. That is subliminal programming. They are planting seeds in people's heads to think, hey, this is great. This is wonderful. Because there's already people out there having sex with robots. Soon they're going to be going, oh man, Match.com, all these things. Oh, because it's so hard to find somebody because nobody knows how to talk to anybody anymore. Nobody knows how to communicate face to face. Everybody's on their phone 24/7. So people are going to go, I'm so alone. They're going to go, don't worry about it. Why can't I find my perfect match? Well, they've conditioned you to not learn how to communicate with people, to get along, to resolve problems. Every relationship has problems, no matter what. You have issues with your own parents, for crying out loud. Your siblings, your best friends, you fight. Right? They've conditioned people. So one thing goes wrong, run away from the relationship, look for Prince Charming programming, right? All the Disney, oh, Prince Charming's out there somewhere. All these romantic comedies, the plot always revolves around somebody leaving the other person for something better. But what do you think that better is that they're going to condition you with? Is going to be, look, this robot likes all the same things you like. You can tell it what to do and it's going to do it. People, oh, wow, really? Yeah, and you can have sex with the robot. Wow. And hopefully at that point, I'm long gone. Hopefully somebody chainsaws a tree and drops it on my head. Because it's already hard enough living in this world, seeing what they're doing to children. Not even, knowing all this stuff that goes on with these Satanists who hide, who are so embarrassed that they worship Satan, that they can't even admit it. They pretend they don't exist, and they pretend they're atheists and all this crap. And the stuff they do to these kids, it's so hard to deal with. And then you mix in watching what they're doing to kids with turning them into drag queens at 10 years old, sending them to transgender camps. And then, you just keep mixing in all this stuff. It's almost like, how much more can you take looking at this world? Everybody's gone mad. So here's Timberlake in his black and white clothing, just making transhumanism look cool. And you could expect to see this type of stuff at the Super Bowl. Because remember, like I said, the largest audience every year. The Super Bowl halftime show will have 100 million people. The Super Bowl is the largest watched show in America, even if they're going to push the ratings are down and all that stuff. People watch it, and a lot of people watch it just for the commercials and just for the halftime show. The halftime show always has an agenda, whether it's Gaga, Madonna. You can go back so many years. Every time the symbols and all that stuff are there. Beyonce. You can guarantee that there's going to be transhumanism pushed. And that's why this video got released now, about a month before the Super Bowl, because they're going to have a performance like this on stage, and they're going to make it look real cool. And then on Access Hollywood and on ESPN and everywhere on TV, they're going to go, how cool was that halftime show? I can't wait until we have robots like that. And people are going to go, yeah, me too, because they can't think for themselves. They allow the television and they allow these Satanists who they don't even know are Satanists who want all of us dead to think for them. It's a really sick world. I thank everybody for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.